Wait. All right. Tell me it's August in New York without saying a word.
It's just like, what the fuck?
I wish everyone listening to this. I wish everyone listening to this could see us. Courtney and I are both sitting here in various states of undress.
Right.
I mean, we are wearing clothing, but the bare amount.
I mean,
are they sweating? Have they just gotten out of the shower? Is it the same?
You know, I love the heat, so I'm not all the way angry because we've had a really rainy, weird July. We had like 8 90-degree days in June, and then like July was a shit show. And now August is, you know, started out kind of weird, but here we go, like a real New York August where it is 7,000 degrees outside.
Well, no, it's the humidity, but then tomorrow.
Right, but that's what makes it 7,000 degrees.
It's going to be in the 80s all week, so.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be okay. Anyway,
right.
You know, but we can't control the weather. We can't control the weather.
We cannot control the weather, nor can we control Governor Suge Knight. Heard any interesting news lately?
Well, it's funny you should say that. I heard a rumor that. Oh, wait, no, I didn't hear the rumor. I saw his monkey ass resign on national television. And it was the...
after the 45 minutes of his lawyer basically
defending him,
ripping everybody to shreds first. It was like the opening act and the main show.
Right, the opening act basically got out there and trashed the main show. And then the main show gave this like 9. I'm sitting there going, oh, fuck, are we going to have to listen to one of these New York Strong, here are my graphic design thing, and on and on and on. And then all of a sudden, his reason for, well, look, he had to resign because he was going to be impeached. And in New York government, unlike the federal government, if you're impeached, you're out. I mean, you don't get to, that's it. You're done. So if he was impeached, he might have lost his pension, but he definitely would not be able to run for office again. But his excuse for resigning, for those of you who've been under a rock, our governor, well, first off, he's under investigation for killing people during the pandemic. But all right, there's all sorts of insanity going on here for killing people under the pandemic. But then, but that's a whole nother thing. But, you know, for credible, numerous cases of sexual abuse, sexual harassment, not abuse necessarily. But his excuse was, I don't know if you saw his excuse basically was, hey, you know, I didn't know there was a line. And now that I know there was a line, I didn't know that I was crossing. And I'm Italian. Did I mention I'm an old school Italian guy? And I got daughters. Oh.
Fox News had the best headline. They really did. It was across the screen. It said, I'm not perverted. I'm Italian.
Right. Yeah. What's Bill O'Reilly's excuse? Yeah.
Well, he's out and he and Trump have an arena tour that's evidently not selling any tickets the way they thought that they were going to sell tickets.
Well, I mean, you know, so we're kind of making light of what Cuomo. I mean, look, people outside of New York, in some ways, this is a very inside the beltway kind of thing because we're New Yorkers. He's been our governor. People who live in Idaho they know who he is, but don't really give a fuck who he is in many ways. I mean, to be perfectly, I don't care who the fucking governor of Idaho is, and they shouldn't care about us.
You know, the interesting thing about the whole thing is it just shows you he had really no allies even in his own party. And it was like, once he gave, his enemies an inch to strike, boy, did they strike, and they struck furiously hard, and they got him. And, and he's really mad about it. And he's sitting back saying it's a political hit job and, all of these things. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's like New York, we've come through the last 6 years in politics have been hell. I don't want to go through a fucking New York impeachment. Just let him quit and let's move on.
Well, I just want to take exception to what you said. It was a political hit job, and he did this to himself.
Yes, but I said that is what he is saying. That he sat on TV and said this is a political hit job.
What I want to, because I've been seeing people saying, "Oh,"
and I will say this, and let me just say this as a man, though, because I think that there's just no winning if you're a man, right? Because it's like, what can you say to defend yourself? I think everybody does have the right to defend themselves, right?
Courtney, come on. You're not one of those. Courtney, he stuck his hand up a woman's shirt. He specifically specifically asked for an unqualified female.
Well, she said that, and he is saying that never happened. Only two people were there, right? So, there
were witnesses. There were witnesses
for him putting his hand up her shirt.
For him,
no. Hold on. I've let you speak. Let me say this because I think it is important. Like, as a man, we do always listen. I absolutely believe women. Believe people, right? But this whole thing where we have to believe somebody that we don't know blindly also can be a problem. Listen, I'm a man. So that means somebody can make the accusation against me and I have no recourse to defend myself. You have a son. If somebody just says, your kid and somebody said whatever, like, who do you believe? You can't see them because I feel like a lot of times we do believe people blindly. Now, I'm not saying that anybody lied in this case, but I am noticing lately that we've become to this place where the accusations are enough to ruin somebody. And as a man, what is your recourse? And, one person, he is vehemently denying that this happened. She's saying it did happen.
There's not a she. There's 11 she's.
There is 11 she's, but I also, this is a conversation that I don't know.
But I have to tell you that there's 11 women. This is why women don't come forward. There are 11 women. There was 175, like a multiple 100-page report by multiple prosecutors with multiple witnesses. I mean, he didn't deny it happened. He's saying, "Oh well, I didn't know there was a line."
See, this is where you're wrong because there are certain things, very specific things that he is denying, and you're making a general statement. Now, I'm not taking a defense on him, but I feel like you can't just gloss over. There are certain things he's like, I didn't realize this was the line. And there are other very specific things that everybody, yes, I'm not defending him. Don't make that face. Hear what I'm saying. There are specific incidents where you're saying that did not happen. And there were only two people in the room. You know what I mean? And he's saying that. So I'm just saying, as a man, like you have to, I'm with you, Amy, but I'm not a woman. So there are times as a man.
Shouldn't matter. You're a human being.
I am, but I notice, and I know you cannot deny this, that there have been lately that the accusation is enough on the man's side where we don't have a recourse to defend ourselves because no matter what you say, as a man, it almost seems like you looked at as a dick for whatever your response is. And like, this isn't in a defense of Cuomo, but I'm really afraid of that because I am a man. So that means there could be an accusation levied against me from, say, years ago or whatever. And what is my recourse? Because this person...
if you're not, all right, Courtney, we're going to have to agree to, because this is a long-standing pattern with him. He ran
yes, but you're missing the part. I'm talking about a general statement. I said, this is not about Cuomo. I'm talking about as a man, when accusations are levied against you, what is your recourse? Especially if there's something that somebody is saying happened years ago. And we do have a tendency, because I believe people. When somebody comes out and says something happened to me, I believe them. But I also feel like on the male side, what is your recourse to defend yourself?
Don't be a criminal.
But not every man is a criminal.
I'm not saying that. I can't. All right, tell me somebody who has been credibly accused of something with multiple witnesses. And
no, it doesn't. It can take one. Aziz Ansari, that whole situation.
All right, you're mixing apples and oranges here.
No, okay, that's
I'm sorry.
bullshit. He was accused of something, and it almost ruined his career. That is not apples and oranges.
All right, we're talking about something, I think, of a much more serious nature.
He was accused of like a sexual assault crime. What do you mean?
I think what we're talking about, there are always going to be
I don't like when you're dismissive like that. That's bullshit.
No, I'm not dismissive.
No, that absolutely was. That's not. You cannot ask me to name one and then shit on it and be like, that's apples and oranges.
I agree that the Aziz Ansari case was an aberration and incorrect. But what I am trying, what I want to say.
But the result was the same. It was damaging for him.
Okay. What I want to say though is that I think the severity of these charges. I think the fact that Cuomo was in a position of power, unique to his position of power. I think the fact that he asked for this investigation. I think that he is a political animal. I think the fact that he used feminism and he wrote the very laws he is accused of breaking. So for him to be so disingenuous and be like, oh, I didn't know there was line. He is not a stupid man. He has a sister, he has daughters.
Oh no, he has all girls. Listen, I'm not defending Cuomo. And I feel like you're coming at me like I'm defending
No, I'm not saying you're defending
because I'm not
Cuomo.
defending him. I just as a man, like there is a side to this where I look and say, wow, how do you defend yourself against something if you're saying it didn't happen? Someone else is saying it did happen. It's your
work. Happen? Would you say that this is the situation like with the Kevin Spacey case?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So as long as it's all right.
Yes.
All right. It is hard if it's a he said, she said, he said, she said. My position with this though is that it was not he said, she said. It was she said, he said, he said, she said.
True.
There were witnesses.
But the thing that I worry about is there is power in knowing that the accusation is enough.
He'll survive.
Well, I'm not talking about just for him. That's what I'm saying. It's power. There's a power in knowing that the accusation is enough to derail somebody's shit.
All right. Well,
not everybody tells the truth. Not even all women. I'm not saying in this case. I'm not saying these women are. I'm just saying. Excuse me. Not everyone tells the truth all the time, and people do understand the power of saying something can really ruin someone's career. And just as a man, I get worried about like what is our recourse to fight for something if you're like, this did not happen. Now, the Cuomo thing, to me, he just I mean, this is wrong, but he looks like he did it. He has that energy. When I'm watching him talk, I'm just like, sir. It's like the same I talk to people who used to say to me argue with me about Bill Cosby. And I would say, guys, I've been hearing rumors about this man for years, like weird shit, right? Okay, whatever. But I'm like, this many women can't be lying. And when you guys try to act like where's this syndicate where everybody's getting together with this plot to bring someone down? And I'm like, they didn't bring him down at his hottest. They brought him down when he was 900 and they didn't even bring him down because here he's back out doing this thing, right? But I do believe that, he can plan a comedy tour, he can do whatever because suddenly he doesn't seem so blind and he's ready to work and he's not the old man anymore. But people will always look at him like as an abuser toward women, right? And
they should.
You know what I mean? So I don't mean to argue with you. It gets in my craw a little bit because I'm tired of men behaving badly. And then I think that for some men are just assholes and dicks and they can get sucked into that behaving badly. I don't know. It's all
I don't
bad.
think we should have listen, I don't think we should have ad hominem statements about anybody. Right. Not all men are dicks. Not all women are to be believed. Right. In this particular case, there are too many credible witnesses and too much of an investigation.
I really love feminist soapbox, Amy. It makes me very happy.
Well, then
I like it. I like it when then we get into our fights about it. I love it. It's so much fun.
No, it's
because you fight for the women, and I'm not mad at that. You're like, fuck that. You're like,
listen, and I know you're an ally, Courtney, right, and part of this is theater in some ways, but I think that it's just. My issues with Cuomo politically aside, you cannot conduct, and look, there's too many credible witnesses. He didn't fight this. He left. He's guilty.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. If you're really innocent, you fight. I mean, that really is true. I mean, even fucking Ted Bundy. You know what? Ted Bundy put up a defense.
Right.
You know?
But the thing with Cuomo is, I think he realized really early on because he has no friends. He had no friends. It's like you got to fight. You can fight when you've got some people also behind you. Like we're behind you. No. His fight, he was like, I'm fighting. It was like crickets on the left, crickets on the right. And then it turns out, oh, you're one of those people that keeps a hostile work environment. I've had really tough bosses, but they were good bosses, right?
Tough and hostile are two totally different
things. And then
I've
had kind of hostile people. And that's like a cancer in a company that really can...
especially when it's the government.
And it makes everything really hard to do your fucking job. And it sounds like he made it really hard for people to do their job.
Right. So... we love Marrow. Now, speaking of toxic work environments, Britney. Finally, Courtney can get some sleep. He's been up every night going, well, Britney.
I mean, listen, here's my thing.
Britney.
Let me just say this.
You made me care about Britney.
Right, I made you care about.
Bastard, I made you.
I have pulled it out. I'm like, but Amy, let's talk about. You're like, oh God, do we have to? I'm like, yes, because today, let me tell you what happened. You're like, you can say something about that.
Yay, Britney. No, I actually do care. Yeah. I mean, it's bigger than her. It's a bigger than her case.
Now, when I watch her videos, I'm like, well, it's clearly a little some therapy could help. I'm sure. Okay, there's something there. But I'm like, fuck, I'm a complete weirdo freak. So who am I to talk about somebody? But her father has finally said in court papers that he is willing to step down as her conservator, the head of her conservator, eventually after a peaceful transfer of power, which is seen as a victory for Britney. I hope that she keeps aspects of this conservatorship in place to protect her money, which is part she said she did not mind. She just wanted some looser stuff on her life. And I do think she could be a little vulnerable to people because now everybody's going to see this as like a hot sun. And, people like to get around the hot sun. Right. So I just want, and I think you and I have had this conversation before, we've seen men be really off their rocker and crazy, but we've never seen anybody come in and say,
and swoop in and take over your shit.
I do feel like her father saved her at a time when she really needed to be saved. But I felt like he needed to come in and be a temporary moment in that, not 13 years. You can't be 40. And you're still like, telling her how much money she could spend this week.
I mean, not to be, and I'm not making light of mental illness, but come on. She was not fucking a raving lunatic on the street. Right. I mean, I don't see anybody acting as a conservative for Shia LaBeouf.
You know what I'm saying?
Or Charlie Sheen. Right. Or any of the other people who have exhibited extremely criminal
And if the truth of the matter is, if she goes broke, then she goes broke. People go broke. That's her money.
People go broke.
It's like if she wants to spend her money and she spends it and it's gone, people do that and it's fucked up and they find a way to survive.
I am glad in the sense of the global sense that nobody should be held against their will psychologically or financially. Whatever issues we have, we're not privy to them, but I think we can just see that she is grown past it. The father does not sound like, this is where mental health professionals and financial professionals, her father had no qualifications to do that other than a broken condom and getting the mother pregnant, basically.
Mm-hmm. And then, and all of these men they leave so angry. I mean, even his answer to, the battle was, the first part was just like ripping apart her mother.
Because the cash cow is like kicking them out,
It's just all of these, everybody, they behave badly and then they're mad when it's over. They're just mad. But my joking around about Britney, I am glad in the sense that it speaks to a larger issue. And for every Britney Spears who has a mouthpiece and has the media's attention, there are still girls being forced into marriage globally. Yep. There is still, trafficking. There's all sorts of stuff going on. So I am glad that she will have some modicum of freedom. I wish she would exhibit her wanting of freedom in another way besides posing topless on Instagram. I don't understand what that has to do with being free, but that's just me.
But I guess
if you're
paid for those tits, she
and
might
my
as well
thing
show
is,
them off.
and if you're gonna do it, it's like
good pictures.
Can we just get some better hair extensions? You got a lot of money.
God,
get
really?
a better and like
Thank you.
I'm clumsy as fuck, but I feel like I could get my eyeliner a little more beautifully on my eye than that moment. It's like if you look like a raccoon that just came from an orgy, it's not the best.
And with that image of raccoons having sex, would that be muskrat love?
Honey, muskrat motherfucking love. Talking about freedom. I'm like, I'm like, freedom? How about a little bit of Sephora right here? With this
My idea of freedom is not walking around looking like that. But I digress. You wanted to talk a little bit about, speaking of breastises and eye makeup, your personal Jesus Lizzo and personal Jesus Cardi B, or our personal Jesus, the new single. Okay, whenever Courtney, note to self, whenever Courtney starts a sentence with nothing good is going to come.
With that,
well,
can I just say, I like Lizzo.
Yeah.
And I felt like she took too long in between projects. I think these new artists, it's like, hi guys, you want to know why certain people are who they are? It was back to back to back. Like, you got to really establish it. And so she's dropped her new single, but I don't know if that I've just seen her too fucking much not doing music, but I'm kind of sick of seeing her. And this is the launch of her new record, and I'm already sick of seeing her. I'm like, you've been so in my face with no music, no nothing. So everything has been this and that. I like everything. Then now you drop this song, which, you know, it's put Cardi B on it. It's called Rumors. I think it's boring.
The song is like, it's not a good song, right?
I think it's boring as fuck.
It's a boring song, right?
Maybe it's not for me, even though I'm a gay and the gays love Lizzo.
No, it's not a good song. I'm a straight, and I don't like it.
But I gotta tell you, there's something about, she's been so in my face since the last record, and I was really happy for that success, that I feel it's overkill. And now when it's time to launch this record, my energy is like, I don't want to see you. Is that terrible?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, let's look at the timing. It drops the third week or the second week in August, and you know, I mean, nobody's paying attention anyway.
Right.
But I like Lizzo. I get it. Sometimes I feel like she's making like empowerment music for Pilates classes. You know, it gets a little like, yeah, like a bunch of skinny white girls going, yeah, she's fat. That's so great. It's like, oh, I think you're missing the message here, Karen.
Right, right.
It's an underwhelming song. It's kind of an underwhelming video, and Lizzo has to come to me with a little bit more than I'm beautiful. I don't look like the standard pinup girl. We've got that. You've established that, the body positive. If that's only going to be your lane for the next 2 albums, then I'm bored with you already, because you have to start doing something besides saying, look at me, my ass is hanging out, and ha ha ha, I'm beautiful.
I just feel like, you know, if you're coming out late summer when it's super hot, everybody's on vacation, this is when you're supposed to come with the bump. You know what I mean? Yep. It needs to be like shake your ass a little bit. It's summer, it's hot, we've been cooped up, it's a pandemic. And I don't know, it's underwhelming.
Yeah, no, it's not doing it. It's, as the kids say, it's not doing it for me. It's not, it's not doing, but we just, you know, lead off singers are sometimes just the one to catch your attention, and it's a flashy video, and we'll see what's next. But so far, we give it 2 thumbs down.
I give it, I don't even know. I would just say I give it it's all right. I won't even say it down. It's just, I still heard it once and I was like, I don't need to hear this again.
No, I don't.
And you know, and I understand that Cardi B's the hot moment, but it's like, let's put Cardi on every record. It's like, Cardi, just make one of your better songs, because your song's always better by yourself. So just go make one of your songs.
Yeah.
And then have somebody feature on your record, because you keep coming with the bumps that everybody likes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of bumps, I mean, she is having a baby soon. So, you know, I do love the fact that and the artists you're going to talk about certainly help. I hate the word that I have to use, normalize women being pregnant, because there's nothing abnormal about being pregnant.
No, but back then, like,
but
nobody, she was on stage pregnant and, you know, doing buffalo stands.
We're talking about Nana, we're going to talk about, but I do love the fact that Cardi B is just, you know, there looking, you know, another blow for feminism and for failed birth control. Yay, failed birth control.
So speaking of Nana, like, you know, I've been digging through my old records because nothing new has really been turning me out. And I friggin' pulled up my Nana Cherry Man album, which is just such an amazing record that I don't believe got a real release.
Never released domestically. Never released in the United States. Only country.
Which is really crazy because Homebrew was such a big critics record in the US. Everybody loved that album. And Man is just, you know, came, what is it, like 4 years later? And it's just...
Man came in 1999.
96.
I have, I just remember that I picked it up actually when I was in Sweden doing a story, and you know, it's always better to get the European version for some reason because it looks, but you couldn't get it in the United States.
Yeah, mine is the European version. I got it.
I'm looking right now. Oh my God, they make this print so.
I just pulled it up. 1996. Homebrew is 92, and this is 96. Wow. And let me just say, it is such a good album.
It has 7 seconds, so that might be the song people know.
But but really Woman and Feel It. It has her version of Marvin Gaye's Trouble Man and Coochie Coo and everything. And her song with Tricky, Together Now, which is just, I mean, it's just a really solid piece of work. I love the videos from that album. I love that period. That's when her hair was kind of shorter and she had the ombre-ness going on, and it's really fierce music that she never, you know, that she's performed in Europe during shows, but the times that she's come here, she hasn't performed any of those shows. Didn't we, when we saw her, didn't she do Hornbrew? Didn't she do what? Hornbrew, the song Hornbeam. Didn't she do Hornbeam when we saw her? She didn't do it. No, she didn't. She did the new album. She did the new album, and then she did
Buffalo Stance.
And one other thing, wasn't it like Inner City? Maybe one of them that she changed.
Yeah, but she definitely did Buffalo Stance.
But she definitely.
No, I think it's a great record, and it definitely cements her status, her actual status as sort of the mother of trip hop, because this is the record where you kind of feel that vibe maybe more than the other. Yeah, Homebrew to me is one of my favorite. Talk about a record that was like, even with the single, which had some MTV play, I think Homebrew is just one of those records that should be in everybody's catalog. She made 3. Well, she's never made a bad record to me. That's true.
But those first 3 albums, man, they were firing on all
cylinders.
Raw Like Sushi into Homebrew into Man. It's just like bam, 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 home runs.
What we love, you know, there's many things we love about, but what is the common thread behind, I think, the artists that both you and I love, and most people love, is that you know it's them, but it never sounds the same album.
Right.
So you know it's them. You can feel her integrity. Yep. There are radio-friendly hits on
a lot of radio-friendly
3 of those records.
Yes, there are. But even, you know, the U.S. is fucked up with the whole radio.
Well, 7 Seconds was an international #1 hit everywhere.
And it was everywhere except for here. Nominated for a Grammy here, but it didn't get the here. And again, thank you to Bill and the guys at Peace Biscuit for my birthday. They sent me the 30th anniversary deluxe vinyl edition of Raw Like Sushi. And, you know, it's just chock full of goodness. Yeah. She's so underrated in the U.S., man. But people love her here. She's the fan base that she has. And I couldn't believe when I went to see her. Did you go both shows with us? You came both shows.
No,
right?
I went to the the
one in Brooklyn. The one
in Brooklyn.
The very first one when I went with Bill when she came, and I think was that Irving, where And it was
it was like
no. Was it the Highline?
No, no.
Where
it was
was the first
tiny
one?
little.
Oh my God! Right.
Williamsburg. It was at National Sawdust.
No, that was the second one. I'm talking about that was her second New York show. Bill and I went to see her.
The first one. I don't remember.
For what's the album? Blank Project. Blank Project. And that was at the Highline Ballroom, and that was her first New York show.
Solo show.
I was like, you'd never done a show here? I couldn't believe that. I mean, she did crazy.
Because of she was supposed to, and then she got.
But she lived here. Remember, she lived here for years.
She was supposed to do Lilith Fair, and then she got Lyme disease, and then there was no. In many ways, she is one of those artists who can sustain herself being an artist overseas. She had kids, blah 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 blah. Yeah. But no, she's great. It was a great. That was a great show. An absolutely great show. So, in the middle of nowhere.
Right. So then it was such a good show. Oh, she was right there. It was so good. So I guess some guy had like a flood and all of his records got fucked up. Like all the covers are fucked up. So he brought them over to the record shop and they just threw them all in a dollar bin. So of course I found a bunch of shit that I've been looking for. Like, I'm going to still have to look for them because the covers are fucked up. But all of the actual vinyl is perfect. Fine. So for my friend Stephanie, I found Vanity's first album, Wild Animal. I found the Vanity 6 album on vinyl. Perfect vinyl, covers fucked up. And for me, I found the Taste of Honey's album that has Sukiyaki on it. I was already in here there doing my full Sukiyaki moment. You couldn't tell me I wasn't singing to the top of my lungs beautifully. And
you couldn't tell them they weren't singing. Were they one of those groups that were lip syncing? Were they?
No, they won. Remember, they won. This is, people always say the curse of the best new artist. They won the best new artist Grammy that year for the album Boogie.
No, I know. I was just wondering. I didn't know whether.
No. They're real. Those women, real musicians, writers, producers. Very underrated, actually. Great vocals, great arrangements, all that. But I found Vanity's second album, which by all records is kind of a terrible album. It's produced by Skip Drinkwater, and it's called Skin on Skin, but I fucking love it. I just love Vanity. To me, Vanity was the queen, and still is the queen of the Prince universe. Yeah, there's been a lot of, proteges or whatever, but to me, Vanity was and is the number one. And
she's the tragic figure.
Yeah, too, right? She is the tragic figure, and it's like the tragic beauty, who life just had everything going for her, and then it just went in another direction. But Under the Influence, which was written by Robbie Neville, is still a great song. I just love it. Made me happy. Matthew Rolston did the photography. She looks beautiful, and it's just, I've been looking for this record for a long time. So I'm mad to have a fucked up cover because the cover is gorgeous, but glad to actually have the music. Ultimately the music is what it comes down to.
All right, so we have decided we are going to be taking a break because we're Americans and we can do that.
And we have not taken one in the 2 years since the show started. Through pandemic, through everything, we kept going. So after this show, we're going to take it'll be like just 2 weeks, and we'll come back.
Dental surgery. I've come in here the day after having dental surgery. You come in with blinding headaches. You're just like, drop your ass up. Sing out, Louise. Sing out, Louise.
It's very
fucking do it.
We have pulled it out our asses for you kids.
Oh my God. And
And plus, this will give you time to catch up, because I know there's some of you guys, thank you, who listen to the show as soon as it comes out. And then I have other friends who are always like, I'm too behind, and they hit me as they're catching up. So this will give you time to catch up, us time to catch a breath and catch up. Have a little bit into the summer before Amy has to go back in the classroom. You know what I mean?
Okay, so go quotes when you say classroom, please. So far it's all virtual. So if there are several things that Courtney and I, we love music, we love churros, and we love Pet Shop Boys.
Oh my gosh.
In fact, it's funny, yesterday I was on the Facebooks and somebody posted some sort of snarky comment about our friend Jill Derryberry, Super One fan, who is a huge Pet Shop Boys fan, like us. posted a song and somebody chimed in, and then I chimed in because she tagged me, and I went, I'm sorry, this is sublime on every level. And the other guy said, why is it that the first time I've heard from Amy Linden is in some impassioned defense of the Pet Shop Boys? Like, I haven't seen you in like a year, and suddenly, whoop, you know.
Except when you just popped up on my television on that Whitney Houston ABC special. I was like, I know her.
I actually had a former student. Oh my God, all in caps. I'm like, who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, so we love Pet Shop Boys, and I think one of the biggest misnomers or the wrong concepts about the Pet Shop Boys is that they basically only have 3 years of hits and then disappeared off the face of the earth. Maybe not disappeared off the face of the earth, but don't have any sort of consistent relevance. They tour the United States fairly regularly. They will be back. They were obviously stopped because of the pandemic. They tour throughout Europe, sell out major venues. They have received Brit Awards. They are revered by everybody from the Killers to, I mean, go down the list. They are a hugely influential duo group. And everybody says, oh, Pet Shop Boys, West End Girls. Now, West End Girls is, if they had stopped there, that would have been fine. But they are not the Kaja Gugu of Simpop, okay? They are more than West End Girls. So we wanted to look at, and this drives Courtney nuts, but I've seen him in concert 4 times, and I will tell you, I know, here he is, he's going nuts again.
I've fucking seen everybody. How have I not seen Pet Shop? I fucking have seen everybody. No, I've seen Nina Simone, for Christ's sakes.
Oh, yeah, okay. No, if you've seen Nina Simone and you couldn't finagle Pet Shop Boys tickets, yeah, I know. But
times. And you've seen Sugar Babes. I mean, come on.
Well, that's something that only you and I care about. That's our little secret. That's like me knowing who Malene Farmer is. You were like, oh shit, maybe this is the white girl from me. I have to take back everything I ever said about it. But and I will tell you that I have seen a lot of concerts and Pet Shop Boys, all 4 of their shows, but especially the show in support of Behavior. One of the finest shows I've ever seen.
I mean, we were supposed to see them this September. They're coming, and that was pushed another year.
2022. They're coming to Barclays.
And it was supposed to be last year, then it was this year. Yeah.
Yeah, Barclays. Well, you know, that fake pandemic, that plandemic.
So can I just say this? Then I am taking up for an album that I think is misunderstood in their catalog that people need to come back and really, really get into. And that's Elysium.
I have that down on my list. Thank you.
Elysium is one of their best works because that to me shows you, like when you said Sublime, that shows you that they really write songs. They're songwriters. Because this is the album that does not have the big over-the-top dance floor bangers that we are used to from them. But the songs are beautiful. I think that Leaving is one of their best singles ever.
Were they working with Stuart Price at this point?
No. This album is Andrew. What's Andrew's last name? It is Andrew Dawson, who worked with Kanye on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And this is the album that they recorded, one of the first ones that they recorded in LA. And so that's why you notice that sound. You know, everybody has that California record in their oeuvre, right? Because they worked with Stuart Price on Electric, and I believe a lot of that was recorded in Stuart's home studio in LA, and that definitely is a return to their big dance floor sound. But this is a more quiet record with great songs. And songs like Your Early Stuff and Breathing Space and Give It a Go and Memory of the Future. It's just a really great album that was overlooked in the United States, you know what I mean? And I really do think people should go back and listen to them because Neil and Chris are great song structurists, producers and writers.
They write phenomenal songs.
And this is an album where you get to really hear their lyrics and their melodies and see that they are bigger than what you think in those dance tunes. And even though those dance tunes that they make they've always been on the cutting edge of dance. They really have. I just love them. That and then the album that came after that, Release, of 2 albums.
That's on my list. That's on my list. That's on my list. That's what I love that album because that's like their folk rock album.
That's their guitar album.
Because Johnny Marr Johnny Marr has played with them in the, Johnny Marr, the only reason to really care about the Smiths, if you're going to be honest, because he's the architect of the Smiths, but Johnny Marr has been playing on their records for years, and he's on Release, and he's I Get Along and Home and Dry. These are really beautiful songs, and these are songs I've never understood why no one has done a Pet Shop Boys covers album. Because they're brilliant songs. Take the dance element out of it, which you shouldn't. Because Behavior, which is, I think, sort of their...
Being boring.
Come on.
To me, their top song. It's the top one.
Because Behavior was this beautiful middle ground between the club and the pop dance stuff and the songwriting stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
And Being Boring is just an October symphony. Oh, God. Well, I love Release, too. I put that down, too. And the other 2 albums I sort of... There's a series of albums because they did consistently put out records. Because whenever I say Pet Shop, I said they've been consistently putting out records. They just don't tour a lot in the United States. They are big tours. I love Yes.
Oh my God! Yes,
2009 with beautiful people and all over the world.
And Love Etc. That's my song. I love Yes. Yes is a great. Yes. To me, had a more of a commercial appeal because Love Etc. was a hit and it gave them more. That's a great album. That's
all over the road. I also love that all their albums have one-word titles.
Yeah.
I also Release. I thought that Electric, which is now when they're getting more into. I love Boshi. I love that song. It's like this weird song, and I know you. I love Vocal. I know it's a hit.
Yeah, I love Vocal too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it sweeps you up. They I hate using the word intelligent dance music because it implies that you're stupid if you're out on the dance floor, which it doesn't matter. But they are, I think, pound for pound, with the exception of Sparks during their dance music phase, and Sparks is a direct influence on Pet Shop Boys.
You know what else I love? Their 96 album, Bilingual.
Bilingual. Well, Domino Dancing was a big hit, right? I mean,
Domino Dancing's not on that album. Bilingual is La Vida Says I Love.
That's the album they did in Brazil.
And Discoteca and I'm Single, Bilingual.
Right.
And Before and Red Letter Day. That's a great.
Yeah, they're just a wonderful. They're just a great record. They're consistent and
so consistent.
I've been
including the late. What was the last album? Hotspot, fabulous album. Love them.
Hotspot is a great record, which came out like literally 5 seconds before the pandemic. Mm-hmm. They have something out now. They have the soundtrack or the music for their version of My Beautiful Laundrette.
Yeah, the stage show. Yeah,
and it's it shows a lot of different influences. There's some Bollywood kind of Bhangra influences on it. And they are just they're just nice guys. They're good guys. I just love them. And we just love them. And so, if your knowledge of Pet Shop Boys sort of ends at Domino Dancing, there's nothing wrong with that because those are all great records. But push a little further.
There's so much good stuff.
Push a little further. And
if you want to twirl, go to their Nightlife album that has great production.
I saw that tour too.
Oh, I'm going to push you down a flight of stairs.
No, don't
you
do
did not.
I live in an elevator building.
You've got to hear them do. I don't know what I want, but I can't. I don't know what you want, but I can't. Give it to you anymore.
Yeah, they have great titles too. I saw the Behavior.
And when they saying New York City boy.
Yeah, so I saw. All right, so I toured the tour for Behavior. I saw the Nightlife tour. I saw some other tour. I don't remember what it was, but as I have said before, it convinced my then on-again, off-again boyfriend that I am really seriously a fucking genius. Because I had to drag him to that show, and he was like, "Oh my God, they're amazing." who knew that they had a stage show? And then I saw the show.
The Inner Sanctum show, the one?
No, I show the show in support of Electric. I think, or maybe it was a little bit later, where Rufus Wainwright got up in the middle of the show to go get a cocktail at the Beacon and missed like half of the show. And I was like, you are not a good gay. I am taking you. And that's another thing I love about the show. Their audiences, you've got like the Guidos from Staten Island, like grooving out with the disco. You have the Chelsea boys. You have the alternative kids. You have everybody. And you know who else loves the Pet Shop Boys? And I always see him at our show, our personal god, Jim Farber.
Oh, hey, Jim Farber.
Hey, Jim Farber. I'm going to have to tell him that we love him so much. We really do. It's an obsession only you and I can have. All right.
Can I just say this?
Please.
Beyonce is on the cover of Harper's Bazaar, and she's announced that new music is coming. And I don't usually get a bunch excited. You know, working with her for all of those years, it was like, okay, hearing the music. But now being so far removed from, working with her and, doing really hardcore industry stuff, I'm kind of excited to see what she's going to come. Because if I know her, it's going to be really good, and she's going to come with some up-tempo party shit because everybody's been cooped in the house, and the way she's talking, I feel like she's about to give us some really good shit. Yeah, I mean, what you're saying about Beyonce is true. Look, she's bared her soul basically for the last 2 albums, and I mean with Lemon, and it's how much more can she? I mean, this is it. We have seen her statement of purpose. We have been privy to her internal life. That if you keep doing that album after album, then you just become like, okay, what lessons have you learned here, lady? Right. And the fourth, she has a much more cohesive family presentation now. So, and I think she's going to do a dance record because on a cynical level, a hit record would really be, that's the stuff that sells for her. Yeah. And also because that's kind of the vibe right now, right? I mean, women are making dance music records. I mean, she's not competing with Dua Lipa because they're very different artists. She's not competing with Jessie Ware. But she could do a Jessie Ware style record. She's got the vocals. She's got the production. Meaning she is due. Get the album out before Adele puts out an album and overshadows you for good, bad, or indifferent. And yeah, I think you're completely right. I think she's a very smart artist. She's not going to come out unless she's got something to say. And she's going to be 40 next month. I think she's coming out to say, I'm a strong woman. I'm in my 40s and I'm just getting started. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be a declarative statement, kind of big record for the whole world. I think it has to be. I think otherwise she's got such a great catalog. I mean, again, she's obviously doing something. She doesn't do a lot of press. She's on the cover of Harper's Bazaar. Shout out to Yvette Shore for always guiding her in an amazing way. But the point is that, she's a go big or go home kind of person. Even when she goes small, she goes big. So, and on that note, guys, listen. We're gonna go big and go home. We're gonna take a little 2-week vacation, but you know what to do. While we're not here, you need to check out our network, Pantheon Podcast Network. There's so many music shows, scripted, unscripted. Catch up with us. If you're new to the show, hey, there's a whole start at the beginning, jump in the middle. We got a bunch of shows that you probably haven't heard yet. For our people who've been here since day one, thank you. Thank you for supporting us. We love you. And we'll still be active on our socials, right? So you can hit us on IG at ImmaLetYouFinish NY, on Twitter, Finish Imma, on Facebook at ImmaLetYouFinish, all one word. And listen, it's been great. It's summer. We're exhausted. And stay safe. Listen, everybody, once again, stay safe. Please stay safe. Wear your mask, go to the beach, have some fun, and we'll see you at the beginning of September. Bye. Bye, everybody.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package, with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.